Listening to that just makes that shot and this day better, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know it when you hear
Feels
it.
good, right? Right
The
in your
inspiration
heart.
starts to swell as soon as you hear it. Yeah.
Certainly does. Nearly 40 years ago, Leonard Cohen blessed the world with a song that would eventually take the world by storm.
And we're talking about Hallelujah, of course, but its rise to international acclaim is its own story worth sharing. And for that, we welcome Dan Geller and Dana Goldfein, the directors of the documentary Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen, A Journey, a Song. Thank you both for joining us. I know you're world travelers, so we appreciate you coming here to Cleveland.
Got in from Munich and New York and hitting us here in Cleveland before you're out west, right?
Out to LA after that.
Oh,
Thank you for having us. It's just really a privilege.
Well, it's a privilege for us to have you here. And I mean, diving into what you have done is just extraordinary. Talk, if you don't mind, first of all, about Leonard Cohen. If people do not know the man behind that song, you know that song.
So he was a poet and a novelist, and he came to music and songwriting quite late for that, for that field. He was like 30. And then he went on and he had this kind of up and down career, especially here in the United States. And then late in life, he had this unbelievable renaissance, and he had this kind of world victory tour where everyone was coming to see him. Billboard magazine listed him on the top, as one of the top concert people, but he was really a man who was on a spiritual quest.
He was always wrestling between the holy and the profane, the broken, and the beauty, yearning for something bigger in his life and all of our lives. And he reflected that through these beautiful songs with deep, deep lyrics, not your typical pop lyrics.
And you talk about the people who are in this documentary, so it's not just about Leonard and the people who knew him, but the people who were able to cover his song and who were inspired by him too.
Exactly. I mean, that song, Hallelujah, has so much in it. Every line, I was going to say every verse, but really almost every line it gives you something fresh and meaty to think about. And so when an artist chooses to cover that song, they bring with them whatever it is that's going on in their lives.
And the range of artists who've covered it, because the song seems very plastic, would be a good word. You can move it this way or that way. That you get Eric Church, a country musician, you get John Cale, known for this heavy rooted work. You get Jeff Buckley's work, you get Brandi Carlile. The range is really interesting, and they all covered the song for different reasons, for different feelings that the song brought out in them.
Well, you guys are going to be showing this evening at, appropriately, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for a screening. Talk about, too, his journey, which you dive into and share. And he was a little older, as you said, for some of these musicians, but it wasn't easy for him. And you look at the rejection by record labels, and he fought through that. And then you go from that, the rejection, to becoming this world success. What a story, what an inspiration to empower other people who are working at this also.
Well, at this a certain moment, fairly late in his life, he found out that his manager legally had taken all of his money. He was, in essence, penniless.
Unbelievable.
At around age 70 or so, and had to figure out what to do. But he also never felt that he had been the performer who could live up to his own songs, as a live performer, that is. And so he went back on the road for both of those reasons. And when he went back on the road, this was this incredible renaissance that suddenly he, as he would say, stood in the center of his songs. And Dana and I had the privilege of seeing him twice when he came through the San Francisco Bay Area. And those concerts, 3.5 hours of Leonard performing with a beautiful band, were almost like church experiences.
Yeah, he went back on the road at 74 years old. So, having not been on the road or on a stage for 15 years prior to that. So the fact that he was able to master that world at that age is so uplifting.
Amazing, right?
I want to let everybody know, tonight, 7 p.m. at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foster Theater. And we'll have Q&A. You can talk to both of you tonight, which is an amazing opportunity as well. Tickets are $10, which does not include the museum admission. It's separate. We just got a few seconds. As people watch this and they learn about it, what do you hope that people will take away from this about Leonard Cohen, the man?
That he was a man, he wasn't a god. I think a lot of people think of him as a god. He was a man who just spent his entire 82 years working really hard on himself.
And he was funny. He was really funny.
Really?
Yeah, a funny man, and you can see it in the lyrics and see it in the interviews. So that you can be funny and serious and pious at the same time, that's a pretty good mix.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much to learn about him, and you help us do that. I can't wait to
you.
see the film.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
So outside of tonight, if people miss it, where can they find
It will
this?
be in theaters. Sony Pictures Classics is releasing it in New York and LA this weekend, and then it starts widening out. It will be here in Cleveland. I forget the exact date, but it'll be in theaters throughout the summer.
Oh yeah, I think it might be
Wonderful.
here even later in July, but it will be in Cleveland Art House Theater.
We'll follow up
Well,
with you.
thank you for doing that.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank
so
you.
welcome.
Appreciate you both.
Good luck
Yep.
tonight.
you.
It'll be great. Thank